live. We're here. We're here. We're here. You made it. Hello, everybody. No, you're not late. No, you're not late. I'm late. I'm sorry. As you guys can see, a little bit of different setup. Dog sitting. But we got less than a week before the draft, and it's been bugging the hell out of me that I really want to get down my last rankings for the wide receivers, especially guys in the first round. Turn this thing off here. Turn that off. Welcome, guys. Hello, all my regulars. I'm glad that you guys got the message that we're streaming a little bit irregularly today. Never really do Saturdays, but we're trying to get more content out. Thank you to everybody that's been subscribing. Let's get through the housekeeping stuff, the regular garbage that I got to say on YouTube. If you are not already and you enjoy Rams reporting from an independent right here in Los Angeles, subscribe. We got memberships. We've got a lot of unique content for members only through the Patreon. A lot of cool stuff coming. And if you like more of like a weekly, almost daily show, make sure you check out our collab stream along with Sheriff Joe Bags called Both Horns. So that being said, what's up, guys? What's happening? Muad'Dib, hello. How are you? Ray is back. Yes, memberships are back. We're here. I was missing those for a little bit just because I did not do the verification right with AdSense. I didn't complete it. I didn't realize I had to upload like a full-on video of my face. It's almost like the Apple verification thing when you first set up an iPhone. Turn your head this way, record all this. I had to do that again to make sure I wasn't a bot. So we're here. Yes, Ray. As he said, hit the like and subscribe button. Who else we got in here today? Who's joining us on a beautiful Saturday? Corn Doggy, hello. Yeah, Muad'Dib was the winner, man. Muad'Dib, what's going on with you? Man, I thought it was something relative to me, man. This got nothing to do with me. Anyways, Kamal, hello, Kamal. You're here as well. I got the fold, so I got the tablet thing, low the size. All right. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is gonna be hard to do since we are on one screen. So bear with me. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna chunk it away. So we got 6 receivers to get through. 6. These are all the guys that are going in the first round or alleged to go in the first round. I've got one screen, so I'm gonna do my best to flip back and forth between what's up on screen and your guys' commentary. So please, if you got questions, if you got concerns, what I'll do is I'll get through a bulk of the content on one receiver, and then I'll check back. So if you guys have questions or concerns about a guy, drop them in there. Just because I don't answer them in the first minute or so, I will get to it within a 5-minute span and we could talk about it. But I'm really excited. I worked really hard on these things. I spent the last few days committed to just boiling down. All right. Obviously, we don't know who the Rams are going to pick. And this comes with the context of we have to understand the Rams draft a little bit differently. On top of that, I don't care about positional value. I don't care about, oh yeah, but this guy's slated to go in the 20th or 30th. We all know that if the Rams want their guy, they don't care if it's a little bit too soon, still a little bit late. They just want to get their guy. So we're trying to keep that contextualized. Got a lot of notes for you guys. We'll probably go about an hour today. I will do my best to spend just 10 minutes on each guy. Yeah, that's about all I got for you guys. Like I said, like and subscribe. We're going to try to do this stuff a little bit more often, solo streams, just kind of going through stuff. Let's jump into it. Let me pull up what we got for y'all. How's everybody's day going, though? You guys like the jerseys? That was our last stream, huh? The jersey stuff. What did he say? We already won by getting the 13th. Don't get greedy. Yeah, but it comes with the context. I know a lot of people are like, oh, don't draft Casey Concepcion at 13. You could trade back and get him. It's not a guarantee. Just because they're slated to go at a certain spot doesn't mean a team is going to trade up and grab him. What if, sure, he may go 20th, but what if, I don't know. Who's out there? Seattle. I know they're not going to draft a wide receiver in the first round. They're 32nd. What if they're like, hey, we can't jump up to 20th or 21st, but we could jump up to 16th. That's the latest we can trade up to and get Casey Concepcion. So that's how guys get reached for or fall. It just really depends on the conversations that are happening between GMs on draft day and prior to. always curious, and we'll ask him on Monday. That's the last bit I'll say housekeeping wise before we jump into this is new content coming out later today. Mark Stampley, Houston DB. We had a one-on-one interview with him. That's the last of our incoming rookie class interviews that we've got. Look out for that later today. And then on Monday, I'll put out a tweet, letting you guys do fan submission questions. But we have Steve Weich from NFL Network. He was on the podcast once last year, preseason. He's coming on again Monday. We're going to talk about replacement referees, rumors around the Rams, draft stuff, and draft misconceptions. So if you guys do have questions for that, feel free to drop them in here at the end of the show, or find the post on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll get fan submissions there. But without further ado, let's jump into this. I'm gonna turn away from the stream here, and we're just gonna dive right into some good old draft talk. All right, so Casey Concepcion, the way I'm doing this for you guys, six receivers, 6 positions. We're going from bottom to top. So Casey Concepcion, I have him as my 6th wide receiver. And again, this is for Rams purposes. And I don't know how I did it, but I could see the chat and I got this full screen. There is a God. Thank you. Never mind. We're live. We're active. We're good, guys. All right. So Casey Concepcion. Love this guy. I have an ungodly amount of notes on all these players. It is, and I'm not literally not kidding. Oh man, I have a problem. So Casey Concepcion, he's going to be one of the first slot receivers. He is the 2nd highest slot receiver I have. Makai Lemon obviously being the first. Omar Cooper Jr. I have kind of as a tweener. Let's go through the positives. I'm going to have a lot of questions. I don't want to put as negatives, because if you're a first round talent, you probably don't have like true negatives, things you can't do. They're things that you got to work on, and how long it takes for these guys to work on them really depends on where you land. We're talking about wide receivers, so please keep in mind, if they have something they need to work on, they're going to Eric Yarber and now Robert Woods to work on it. So you got to imagine, like Casey Concepcion, right? We'll get into his issues, but just keep that in mind, okay? Some of his positives, the things that make him a superhero on the field: twitchy releases, absolutely off the line. I've watched his film against Mansour Delane, where he won a lot of those reps. You would think that because of the size, you would think that because of the immense talent that Mansour Delane has, being a top 10 guy, probably the first corner off the board, that Concepcion did not win anything, but that's just not the truth. He absolutely won a lot of his reps. Let me read off some of the stuff I got written on him. My biggest comp for him that you guys are going to love is actually a former Rams player. He's just a big playmaker, man. He's a speedster. If you do not tackle him on the catch, like the second he makes a catch, he's gone. He's got that level of speed. I love his strides too. Like, just a very gifted natural runner. He's got really good contact balance, big playmaker. So whether he catches an underneath ball, whether he's on special teams, because that he can make plays in special teams as a kick returner as well. He's just got burner speed like that. Or if he catches a ball downfield, and whether he makes the catch downfield or not, it is one of the things he's going to have to work on. But he's still growing. Every player, and the reason I wanted to do a longer stream like this is because there's context to even the things that they're like not the best at. One of them is some of his natural catching abilities that has been deemed as a negative. His journey going from NC State as I believe, a running back / gadget wide receiver. Like, they didn't have him as a true wide receiver. He was okay. Like, the experiment to use him as just you remember they used to have a just athlete role. Now it's, kind of positionless at wide receiver for a lot of these colleges. But he took a leap when he transferred over to A&M, where they put him at true slot receiver. I think he runs like 80% of his routes from the slot, and his production just jumped. Like, he found his sweet spot. So he's only really been developing as a wide receiver for, I believe, the last 2 seasons. He is a great route runner. He uses leverage really, really well. It's crazy impressive watching him run a drag route. Like, I believe, was it him or Cooper? I believe it was him. There's a play I watched where he's running exactly what Muad'Dib says, like a shallow drag route, shallow crossing concept. And Quarterback's just taking a while to throw it. There's a linebacker sitting right in the middle, about 7 yards deep, and he's in the way of Concepcion. About 6 yards before he gets there, he gives just a subtle little head nod, like a little jab, as if he's going to cut upfield, forcing the linebacker to take a false step back. So that way now Concepcion can just run underneath him. That shit, like it seems like such a throwaway, like, oh yeah, like trying to shake him. When you're doing that live against a defense in the middle of your route, it shows a really good understanding of what you do, how it can make a defender react to get out of the way. So rather than a contested, route where he's getting pushed, jammed out the way, and now the timing's all off, just a small little head fake. Now he's got a wide open shallow cross to get an easy completion and then take it upfield. So that's one of his super powers on the field, running with leverage. Like if he thinks he can get an angle on you, he has such elite speed that if you don't get hands on him, he's probably going to leave you on a lot of those crossing concepts, digs, middle of the field. I think that's where his strong point is. Shallow crossers, underneath stuff, little twitchy things in the intermediate routes. It's the deep stuff that gives me a little bit of pause because of the catching. I almost said disability. The challenges that he has when it comes to catching. So with the drops, you do have to wonder why. A little bit to me, I don't think it's really like, oh, he can't catch. Like, I don't think you could put forward that sort of production and then not catch as well. Like those two things are really just not, it doesn't make sense. I think some of his drops come from the quarterback play. I don't think that A&M's quarterback was bad per se, but a lot of the timing throws, especially over the middle, where they end up being contested catches when they should have been thrown a half second sooner, a different position to protect Casey. Like we credit him for his willingness to challenge contested catches over the middle and deep and get up there. Like athletic ability is off the chart. He'll get up there and get hands on it. Sometimes it's just luck. Like you just end up not with the ball. And some of that is because of bad placement by the quarterback. He took some shots over the middle. The guy's fearless though, so I gotta give him credit. His run blocking does have to improve. It's not for lack of effort or trying. That just kind of seems like upper body strength, technique, and a little bit size. The size thing is my last excuse as to why he's not the strongest run blocker or screen blocker, because there's guys smaller than him that can clearly block really, really well. One of them's on this list. I think it's more technique. I don't think A&M's wide receiver coaching staff or OC really developed the receivers the right way in regards to run blocking. So I think just because of the character makeup of Concepcion, all the other things, like he just gives 100% effort in everything. I don't think it's an effort problem. I think it's more technique. And then in a summer in an NFL weight room training program, I think he'll be more than fine, to be honest. So some player comps, and then obviously the ranking, and then kind of a recap on him. And I'll see if you guys got any questions. Player comp, I'm going to keep him super positive. I'm not sitting here going to be like, oh, low end, high end, because I don't fucking know. Like the dude could like not even play a snap. Like that's just real for any NFL player. Like what if he's a complete bust? I don't know. But the upside, when I watch a lot of his deep routes, his contested catches, his body mannerisms and the way he catches the ball sometimes with his body, he reminds me of Brandon Cooks. Like very similar. Just finds a way to get open, almost deceptively fast because he's not like skinny small. Like he's muscular. And so he catches you off guard. And then the other one that really reminded me of as like a true high upside is T.Y. Hilton. Kind of underdog mentality as well. I get a lot of vibes of T.Y. from him. And then one of my favorite things, I don't know if you guys saw it. He wrote a piece in the Player Tribune? Forgot that. I think it's in the Athletic. Just like an advertisement to NFL GMs where he's talking about, hey, it won't be a mistake if you draft me first. I'm the best wide receiver, yada yada. If you don't know about Casey Concepcion, he has a speech impediment, which can cause him to stutter. And we talked about it on the show with Sheriff Joe Bags, where I think that's such a strength for him, because if you've ever been in a football locker room, sports environment, man, you get roasted for everything. You get roasted for having dirty shoelaces. You get roasted for someone not liking your shoes, let alone having a speech impediment. To be able to go through and become a top tier first round talent in some of these brutal locker rooms with a speech impediment. The reason I bring that up is because there's just some things off the field that make you a dog, that kind of make you fit in with the Rams. And I think that's one of them because of how he's overcome that adversity. And then his sign off from that piece in The Athletic is he says, "Did I stutter?" Owning something that's challenged you in life, in your personal life, is very impressive. And it makes you really root for Casey. And I've said it on here, Concepcion with the reception in SoFi sounds really cool. So I'd like it. But I do have him 6th. And a lot of that is, hey, the Rams may love him more than how I have him ranked because of that yak ability, special teams, and just pure speed. Like he could potentially be an elite offensive rookie of the year level slot receiver. The drops may be remedied by better quarterback play, ball placement, and just confidence in the offense. But my big thing, and the reason I have him so low, is it's not even on him, it's McVay. How many years with Tutu Atwell? They tried it with Deshaun Jackson. The last guy where he had success with a sub 6 foot slot receiver was actually Brandon Cooks. And so that gives me pause that be hopeful for some of these quote unquote smaller guys. But it just makes me worried because the track record for McVay is he doesn't utilize plug and play slot receivers as well as other OCs. For all the strengths that McVay has, this is the one area that I think he needs improvement on. And because of that, it makes me feel like maybe they won't go this way, just because maybe they just don't want to deal with that what if. Like, what if they can't figure out how to use them the right way and to maximize what already is a really, really good offense. So because of that, I got him 6th. And then when we get through every single receiver, I actually have a chart at the very end of how I got to these rankings with a little bit of context so you can kind of see my point system, because I made my own point system and figured it out. Yeah, but that's me on KC, man. I love the guy. I don't have confidence in McVay to get it done the right way. Let's see who we got here. Take some questions that you guys got. Any questions on Concepcion? Anything I missed that you think would like really spotlight him? Kamal says, my question is, why did Tutu fall this past year? Why is everyone else different? You talking about Tutu, or are you talking about? We're talking about somebody else. Are we getting guys mixed up? But if you're asking about Tutu, I kind of believe McVay's comments after the season, because somebody asked him that about what went into, like, hey, you pay Tutu $10 million, and then the plan was to use him. McVay's excuse was they intended to, but then a natural progression and the evolution of 13 personnel, it kind of made him almost obsolete. I equate it to the Van Jefferson thing a few years ago. We paid Tutu $10 million to beat the Colts. I mean, yeah, it was a phenomenal play too if you were in the building, but I just don't buy it. I think it comes down, there's something, either McVay truly has a problem using that size receiver how he wants to. I think he's like square peg round hole, or Tutu just couldn't figure out how to make it work for himself. I don't know if his frame can hold more muscle. I don't know the behind the scenes stuff. We'll never know. But I look at Xavier Smith. Xavier Smith was like skinny as hell, the same as Tutu when he entered. 3 years later, Xavier, like, you could tell, physically different. Whereas Tutu, it like doesn't seem as much. And I know everyone's body composition is different, but it really makes you wonder about that. You had a wide receiver 3 part. I know we went 13. And that's what I'm talking about is it's the strength in his release. Like, they were opting for Konate Mumfield at a 13 personnel as the lone wide receiver. Sometimes it's Xavier Smith. I saw Jordan Whittington out there. It's like you never saw Tutu. Like, if you told me he was out there in 13 personnel one time this season, I would not believe you, because I cannot recall, and I never looked it up intentionally, or specifically that one role. But I think it just came down to probably some frustration from Tutu not being able to figure out how to get him on the field. And then ultimately, when you are finally going into 13 personnel, kind of makes him even more obsolete. And I brought up Van Jefferson because Puka's first year, when Cooper Kupp goes down, it was kind of a question in the air, like, hey, who's going to step up with Cooper being hurt for a little bit? A rookie stepped up, Tutu stepped up, and then Van Jefferson was like, "Hey, man, this is your time to shine. Like, you're the elder statesman that's healthy. This is your time to shine. Like, earn your money. Be wide receiver too." And he got outclassed by both Puka and Tutu. And now I think it was Tutu's turn this year where he just couldn't find a role to work. So kind of a bummer. I was really hoping for Tutu to do well, but that being said, let's move on to the next guy. My fifth wide receiver, Omar Cooper Jr. And you may be surprised by this because I have hyped up Omar Cooper Jr. But like I said, this past week, I really had I put away some biases I had already for guys like Cooper and looked at it like, okay, what actually makes sense for the Rams and not my feelings and how I would trade a team in Madden. Omar Cooper Jr., I have him as the fifth ranked wide receiver for the Rams if they do opt for a wide receiver in the first round. Some of the positives for him: great hands, making catches away from the body, quickly processes defenses after snap and finds the soft spots. I love this. It like when you watch him play for what his negative trait is or what he needs to work on, he makes up for it with his defensive IQ. When the ball is snapped, you see him quickly able to process how a defense is moving. Hey, this guy's going to the curl flat. Hey, this guy's dropping. And he's able to sit and find soft spots in the zone based on that. It makes up a lot for the fact he's not the sharpest route runner right now. That's and we'll get to that part. He's not afraid of the big moment. National champions, obviously the improvement he made over 3 years, staying in Indiana, even after the Cignetti transfer in with all the new players. And then the big catch against Penn State, which we've all seen a million times. We've showed it on the show. Like incredible, like the incredible body control, big moment, just willing to put himself out there. I put him in the category of guys where they have that special trait where like, okay, big play. You saw it last season, NFC Championship on the line, fourth down. Someone just fucking get open and or just make a play if you're not open. Omar Cooper Jr., I feel, regardless of how big the situation is, he's a guy who will make a play and help you win games. He has wiggle. He has juice. He's got 4.4 speed. There's a lot of weird explanations for a guy's like quickness or speed we'll use. I hope you guys understand it, especially for a wide receiver. The guy's got wiggle. Like he's kind of twitchy. Like he doesn't even make cuts sometimes. Sometimes it's just a little shoulder fake and it works because it's so scary. You're afraid he's going to go that way when you're not ready for it. Juice is just like, acceleration, just unwillingness to go down. Like he's just got some juice to him, man. Like he's just got it. And then speed. I mean, it's just speed. Yeah. So I hope you guys understand those. Kamal says, I don't know if you've seen the speed kills video that came out a week ago, but the processing speed would make Coop get space where he shouldn't, basically how Puka plays. I have not seen that. If you have, I think you have me on Instagram, right? If you could find the link, send that to me. I'd love to watch that. Yeah, not a great tie. That might be a clip on. So maybe we got to put that as one of his needs to work on. What is up, Manuel? For those of you that are joining us late, we're going through our wide receiver rankings, trying to figure out who we think is the best option for the Rams if they do go wide receiver in the first round. Finishing up with Omar Cooper Jr.'s positives. Again, his body control in the air and on the ground with the ball. You're going to see a lot of comps to Deebo Samuel for this guy. And that's fair because I could see it. Put the ball in his hands underneath intermediate parts of the field, screens, fly sweeps. The guy doesn't go down. If you try to arm tackle him, you're about 2 seconds away from your safeties and your defensive coordinator saying, oh shit, because he's going to take it for 6. He's very Deebo Samuel-esque with just how he runs with the ball. Him and Puka would make it incredibly dangerous and unfair 1-2 when it comes to yak ability. It'd be really cool. And then run blocker, I've got triple pluses here. You're not going to play wide receiver for Cignetti. You're not going to play wide receiver for the Rams. And yeah, Manuel says it right here. He screams Ram. He does. He just kind of does a lot of boring things that you like Rams fans watch him play and you look at it and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. That guy's going to be wearing horns one day. If they take him at 13, if they take him a few spots back, I wouldn't be upset at either one. I think he's that good. Some of the things he has to work on, though. So he does need a summer or two to work on route technique. He's good, but he's not as good as some of the other guys on this list in the first round. I equate that because I look at Elijah Surratt. I forget their third wide receiver's name, but I think it's more of a developmental issue with Indiana. Obviously, a great coaching staff, phenomenal things. Maybe they're good at helping guys do 9 out of 10 necessary things for wide receivers to be great at. The one of them being, hey, even if you're not the sharpest route runner, and we can't coach you up even further, then have a high IQ, be super athletic, and don't be afraid to get hit. And it'll compensate for that. And clearly it did. Also, to add context again for why he may not be a route technician yet, and maybe he's about to scratch the surface of being very, very good to the level of like what the Rams expect, is he might be a late bloomer. First 2 years in Indiana, first of all, he stayed in Indiana because he's from Indianapolis, so hometown kid, awesome. But there's documented reports of him being like having, I don't say attitude issues, but kind of maturity issues his first 2 seasons. Don't know if he has stuff going on in his personal life, but the stark contrast from now to those reports, it gives me the feeling of like, yeah, he's probably an 18, 19-year-old kid. They sucked their freshman year, maybe wanted to leave. You got a new head coaching, you got new competition coming in. So maybe you want to go somewhere. Maybe you're not happy your sophomore year. And then his third year, it's like, okay, mature a little bit. Like I don't think he's a team captain, but he's a trusted voice in the locker room. I have no problem with him. Like, you listen to him talk and speak and how he talks about his team. He seems pretty damn mature to me. Seems to fit exactly what the Rams would like. His release package is twitchy and strong, but needs refinement. Again, I think a summer with Yarbs and Robert Woods was a quick fix for all this stuff. On film, he shows understanding for leverage and how it impacts defensive reaction, but it's capped by Mendoza in the offense. I talked about it with Concepcion, how he knows, hey, if I nod my head this way, I can get a linebacker 5 yards away from me to take a false step, and I can run right by him. Omar Cooper Jr. does that, just less consistently. And again, I think that's just sometimes your offense doesn't allow for it. Yeah, and I think with Mendoza too, trying to match up some of the knocks on Mendoza's game on like their field processing. Sometimes it's just not necessary. There's not enough time developing on a play for him to need that trait. He's going to need it in the NFL. I think he's going to be able to do that. And then the last one is it actually dynamic for the Rams? Same question with the other slot receiver or the other slot receivers on this list. What exactly do they want? He's a little bit bigger than Makai Lemon. He stands at 6 foot, I think $197, whereas Makai is 5'11", 192. So take that for whatever it's worth that you feel is important. But yeah, I don't know exactly, like, is that a dynamic enough for them? Do they need a slot receiver? Do they deem that as like, is he good enough as a deep threat? Because they didn't really use him vertically. He can do it and he's got the speed for it, but they haven't utilized him like that. So is it a skill or is it a will thing from the coaching staff? So I've got him as 5th for Rams fit purposes. Comparisons are Deebo Samuel because of his yak ability, but I would argue that Deebo doesn't have the same level of consistent hands as Omar Cooper Jr. has shown in Indiana. And then I see a lot of Robert Woods. Robert Woods, like, you're not going to say he's like the fastest or like the most elite at one specific thing, but he's just a fucking good football player, and he's damned committed and good at everything he like puts his mind to. Same thing with Cooper. I think you put him under Robert Woods and Yarbs for one training camp, and Cooper adds to a trio that's like a really damn good wide receiver trio. What do you guys think? Do you think this is actually a good fit? Am I just in love with a player like this? But yeah, one of the conclusions is his progression of Signetti is important. I think you're going to see his best years over the next 3 years in the NFL. Hopefully it's here with the Rams. Yeah, really hope so. Muad'Dib says he just needs to do his job. He just needs to win a one-on-one matchup because all the other targets and their mothers are going to be double teamed. Literally. but it's how quickly can you grasp McVay's offense? And it comes to those underneath option routes, like I said, because they didn't do them every damn play in Indiana because which wasn't necessary with Mendoza. And there's other targets like Surratt, like I know you guys like. They like how quickly can he develop that part of his game? Because if Devontae Adams is to be doing the intermediate routes, the somewhat longer routes, and Puka is just everywhere, the one spot he needs is the deeper crossing routes and the underneath stuff. And a lot of that are choice routes. It's understanding quickly, hey, we're at the snap. These defenders are moving, A, B, and C spots. Where does Stafford want me? And the second you fuck that up, Xavier Smith is in. Jordan Whittington is in. They don't have patience to let you, you got to be ready to do it. So in their scouting, if they do draft Cooper, I think they believe at that point that his underneath game and his recognition of defenses and his ability to catch up with his release game and his routes, they think it's a quick fix. And if that's the case, if those are true, Cooper might be a steal. Like he has a potential to be one of the more successful wide receivers out of this draft when his career is said and done. Not seeing any questions on this guy right now. Let's see. Manuel says he loves Elijah Surratt. I do too. Just today, we're talking about the first round guys. Indiana doesn't do captains. Do they not? I did not know that. Thank you for the heads up. Paul, welcome, sir. He says, go Rams. Of course, well, we're focusing on them. Manuel also says, Skylar Bell will be sweet if they take wide receiver later. Yeah, I'm excited to do Skylar Bell and the second and third round guys, the day 2 guys. We're going to do a similar one like this on Tuesday, 2 days before the draft, just to knock out the rest of the wide receivers. So excited to talk about him a little bit more. But I don't see any other questions. So let's jump on to wide receiver number 4. I know some of y'all are going to yell at me. Makai Lemon. I have him ranked 4th for Rams fits. Let's talk about it. Selfless. Blocks tough. I think I saw one time with questioning his run blocking. He's selfless. I don't care. He blocks well. He's an elite guy. He's a Blitnikoff winner for a reason. Arm tackles mean touchdowns. He's just scrappy. I love how he runs because it's not like he's not always like super fluid with his hips. He's kind of a stiff straight runner, but he'll do enough to get around you. A lot of what his game does reminds me of how Wes Welker used to be able to evade tackles. Kamal, I see your question. Wait for it, Kamal. Yeah, loud noises. But arm tackles mean touchdowns, super fast, elite yak runner. Give him the ball anywhere on the field. He has a potential to take it up for a touchdown. Elite defensive recognition off the snap. Same I was talking about at length with Omar Cooper Jr. Makai Lemon does that, I think, better than anybody else in this draft. I really, really do. Great body positioning on contested catches, and that adds to where because of his 5'11", 190 frame, there's a lot of contested catches, jump balls, corner of the end zone receptions where you don't think he's going to make the catch. I believe it was Michigan. He had a touchdown on the left side of the field, runs a corner route. He's matched up on a safety. Who's a lot bigger than him. He's more of I don't think he's the greatest cover safety, but he's a big dude. So he's a box safety. Runs right into him, gets almost rerouted. But Makai Lemon's so strong where he does not move off his track. He's able to run his route even with a shoulder press and a bigger safety on his hip. Still able to keep his track, keep his timing, keep his speed, and then make a contested catch. It's very impressive. The size I don't care about personally, but we'll get into why it matters for the Rams. Generates an orbit on motions. So he's such a dynamic playmaker that if you put him in motion, you line him up in the backfield, outside slot, move him around, especially in an offense like the Rams, he's such a dangerous player that you can't just ignore him. Whereas if Jordan Whittington's going in motion, you're not really that afraid if you're a defending safety. You're not thinking oh shit, how are they going to draw up a play to Whittington this time? I'm afraid. Makai Lemon, though, you watch how defense react on film. Wherever he goes, he's a problem. Now you add that onto an offense like the Rams with anyone else that's going to be getting double teamed and not him. that's a mismatch problem. And he understands leverage. Triple pluses is one of his strongest suits. Now, the negatives, if you can call them that, not a super long stride. He does run what 4.4, 4.45, faster game speed, faster football speed than track speed. You know that we're big proponents of that, but you just got to notate it. If you go look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, he runs the same way, where it's like not a long stride, and so that kind of caps their long end speed a little bit. Versus press coverage, he does have to be more consistent. He's strong enough, like it's not like he can't do it, it's just doing it more consistently. And that could just be, all right, training a different way, training with better coaching. Like as much as you guys love USC, a lot of you in this chat, I don't think their development of wide receivers is the best. I think they have elite talent and they shine despite the coaching, but I do think that they can do a little bit better at coaching the wide receivers in certain areas. He can polish his double move patience. That's just timing. I think that's easy with a great quarterback. And like Concepcion, can we trust McVay with the slot wide receiver? So I do want to point out an inconsistency with my analysis, because just before this, I'm hyping up Omar Cooper Jr. and him being dynamic. The only size difference, according to the combine, between Makai and Omar Cooper Jr. is 1 inch, 7 pounds. Don't go there, Muad'Dib. But he's really not. He's not that small. Like 5'11" and 1/8 and 192 pounds. Come NFL season, he'll be 195, 195 plus, whatever it is. And ultimately, it doesn't matter, because if you utilize the right way, he's probably going to be in the slot. You're not getting jammed at a high rate. And plus, again, with it sounds like Lord Farquaad. I do not think that if they decide to go with him, that it is a problem size wise. But again, it's a McVay thing. Can we trust him? I don't. Can he be the exception to the rule? He has the talent to do so. His comps, again, Amon-Ra St. Brown, shout out with the funny as hell touchdown Sally. I do have him ranked 4th out of 6 of the first round guys. Not the same stride, because Steve Smith has a longer stride, a little bit faster. But some of the things that he does after the catch and with the ball in the air, the way he attacks it and the way it seems like his mentality playing wide receiver is, I'm better than you and I'm going to show you over and over and over again and rub it in your face. That's Steve Smith to me. And I even went to Steve Smith's channel, and I think they hinted at one of his producers wanted him to, on record, make that comp of like, hey, he reminds me of me, but he wouldn't do it. I really do think that some of his game can be very reminiscent of Steve Smith, who Deep says 5'11" is small. I'm also 5'11", bro. Not in real life 5'11". Jesus. All right, I'm 5'10" and 3/4. So I'm not hating on their short kings, but NFL talk, that's tiny. And even Corn Doggies joked about it. 5'11" and 1/4, you're tiny, you're horrible, you're never going to play. Barely 6'10", as long as it says 6, man, Hall of Famer, first round pick, take him everywhere. But I do have him 4th because of my questions on whether McVay can utilize him the right way. Like I had a hard time not putting him 3rd and like a high 3rd. Like this was actually really hard for me, and my biases prior to this week would place him 3rd. Like depending on the team, other teams outside the Rams, Makai might be 1 or 2 on their team board, and it's justifiable if utilized correctly. Could be a nightmare for defenses, and he's just a straight up dog. He's a guy you want in your team, you don't want to play against. My problem is just, need to get Stafford a big wide receiver. I don't know, man. I don't want to yuck your yum, but you're pulling an Elsa and getting frozen. No! Are we frozen? Are we getting Fs right now? Hold on. Let's do a quick reset. We're here. A little check-in, because we're halfway through the list now. We got 6, 5, and 4 down. We got number 6 was grindy a little bit. Good for you. Okay, we're good. Going through the ranks again. It might be bad when I pull stuff up, so if it is, just type F in the chat and it'll let me know. But we started off with Casey Concepcion. He's number 6 out of 6 for us. Went through his stuff. We got Omar Cooper Jr. at 5, Makai Lemon at 4, and coming in at 3. I originally did not like this guy at all. I didn't have him on my board for the Rams at all, like in the first round. I just ignored him completely when I watched the film. Went back and watched it. I'm a certified believer now. There's so many things he does, and I think it's because he's a little boring because of how the things that he does he makes it look very routine. And because he's not 4.3 fast like some of the other guys in the first 2 days of the draft, some people get a little concerned. Hear me out, though. Hear me out. Red zone nightmare. Jump ball. Mike Evans-esque. Devontae Adams-esque last year. The guy's a nightmare. He plays man football. Like, he plays like a grown man. The ball is in the air around him. He's going to punch a DB in the mouth and then jump up and secure the catch. He only had like 5 drops. I don't know if it was last year or like over the last 2 years. Really, really, really good just hands catcher. He attacks leverage aggressively. Some people don't think so, and they get it confused because of how much he's a strider. Like he gallops, and it looks very effortless. But he's not slow, like by any means. And I think I got tricked by it early on. You go back and watch it when he's got an angle on a guy, like someone that big should not be able to get open that quickly. And he does pretty consistently. He's very disciplined with his landmarks running routes. If he runs an out, like from the slot, he's not, I don't know how to explain it. You run a 10-yard out, he'll stay at 10 yards all the way to the sideline. Some receivers, when they look back at the ball, they'll hit their 10 yards and they'll start like getting upfield. Now they're at 11, 12, 13 yards. They're drifting and they don't realize it. He's very disciplined. That eliminates potential interceptions and incompletions because when you trail like that, you give the DB behind you a little bit better angle to jump it. This dude, Zay Flower, I'll fight you. Zay Flower, no. Denzel Boston's 6'4". He's 6'4", I think over 210. No, I think a little over 200. His comps you'll see in a second. Super strong hands, contested catches. Some people have him listed as the best blocking wide receiver. Film matches that. He's very mean and in fluid routes. He can do tempo if he needs to go 3/4 speed down to half speed up to full speed on the same route. He'll do it. He's very, very good. Aware of where he is in space. Like exactly. Very, very good. Some of the positives, yes, but there is a big positive that I left off here that is very counter to Puka. So some of the things he's going to have to work on that give other teams cause for concern. He didn't run a 40, so he's probably in the 4.55 range, but doesn't matter because he's open all the fucking time. And he has football speed. I think Puka ran a 4.55. Cooper Kupp is not very fast. Rams don't care. Can you get open and are you fast on the field? That's what matters. The way that he's different from Puka is he's not a yak monster at all. He's a scrappy runner. Like they threw screens at him at Washington, and he'll make one guy miss, and then he'll go down, he'll stretch out. But he by no means is like your go-to guy. He's not going to lead the league top 10 in yards after the catch. He's strong down the field. Like he's so big and strong that like you're not just going to take him down right away, like Carnell Tate on tape sometimes. Can he stay out of Twitch streams? Hopefully. His release package is okay. Now, I don't want you to think it's bad. Emphasis on okay. Like, it's good. But compared to the other first-round guys, it's okay. He just needs a summer with yards to add more. To the same degree that I would say Omar Cooper just needs, like, hey, he's going to work on his route technique. He's going to get a few pointers, and he's going to be fine by the season. Like, he'll be much improved. Same with Denzel Boston because he's good at 9 out of 10 things. If the one is just, hey, let's give you like 2 or 3 new tools in your tool belt as like counter moves for when you face this kind of press coverage or this kind of look. And to just do it consistently, that's literally all it takes. I think some people, and this, you can kind of make this claim with Jordyn Tyson too. Some schools are dubbed like wide receiver U. Like if they come from Ohio State, they're coached NFL ready. There are some questions with Washington and Arizona State wide receivers. Rome Odunze is the last one to come out of Washington. He's been okay for Chicago. He hasn't evolved like I think they were hoping to. So we'll see if either Boston or Odunze can buck that trend. Yeah. Anyways, not going to evade many on screens. He will take screens. Like I said, he's got good vision. It's just he doesn't have that short area burst of quickness like you would expect from a Puka or some of these other guys on the list. So it's just not his strong forte, but he's a good football player. Some of his comps, I've got Michael Pittman Jr. I've got, I can't think of his first name. I almost said Carlos. Curtis? No. What is Sutton's first name? Oh my God. I'm drawing a blank. Sutton from Denver. So my comp for these guys, Cortland, thank you so much. Oh my God. Cortland Sutton. So for our third wide receiver ranked for the Rams fits out of the first round, very Michael Pittman-esque, big body, good route technician, strong hand, just crazy reliable and just gets open. Has a mean streak with him. So if the Rams do want a big X wide receiver, if that's the idea that they have to complete this offense in 2026, Denzel Boston is fucking good at football. Release package from Washington development, I think that's really it. I don't think it's a skill issue. I think it's just lack of coaching. He's an ultimate competitor. He might be the dominant run blocker in the draft. And then he just wins so consistently at everything asked of him. I have such a hard time outside of the release packages of finding anything wrong with him because I'm not a believer in 40 times of being a true litmus test for can you get open deep. Just watch the film. The dude grabs every contested catch and he's open in the red zone because people can't cover him. The highest upside, if you want to get like crazy, is Mike Evans. Like he can do a lot of things Mike Evans does. So love him a lot. I changed my mind and I love that this process kind of lets us do that. You can have a favorite player. Like hell, I still got guys I love, but it's okay to rise and fall with some players based on what you're seeing. Moody said going in, I was leaning Cooper Jr., but I like Boston the most. Yeah, dude, same. I had no intention. Like I purposely, I watched them in groups of like X, Z, and slot. I watched him right after Carnell Tate, and there's a lot of things that Boston did that I liked more than Tate's film. Tate's a more complete wide receiver, and we'll talk about it once I get to his part. But yeah, Stafford would love Boston. I had no intentions of loving his film as much as I did this last week. Hey, I'm in love with him, man. Go watch some highlight tapes. I think there's my favorite one that just shows full plays and doesn't do like the weird edits where it's hard to see the routes. I think it's a YouTube page called Sports Productions. They have one on every wide receiver that we're going through. His on Denzel Boston showed some of his best, so all the traits that we're showing here. It's a good recap in that sense. So the top two, and before we get into it, if you're joining us late, like, subscribe, do all the stuff. We got fun people in the chat. Like everyone's in here yelling at me. They're giving their own questions, expertise. We got superstars like Corn Doggy in here. So if you're not subscribed and following already, you're missing out on some fun, on some independent Rams coverage. All right. Got any guesses on who number 2 is? Anybody want to guess who I think or who you think my number 2 is and who my number 1 is? Let's take this down for a second. Mudeep says Tate has it easy because Signetti is the most prepared coach there is. Washington sucks. Yeah. It's rough. Mudeep says Tyson 2, Tate 1, and you got it right, sir. All right. My number 2 wide receiver on the board is Jordyn Tyson. I got him equated more as 1A, 1B. Because I can't sit here and pretend that like we all know, it depends on where you go. Jordyn Tyson on the Jets or the Browns is vastly different from Jordyn Tyson on the 49ers or the Rams. Like it's completely different situation. So because of that, and because of one key factor, I have Tate just slightly over Jordyn Tyson. And I mean, it's like barely. It depends on what they want. Go through the positives. I think he has the highest raw potential upside because of how good he has been. And because of the ASU thing that we talked about, ASU wide receivers, like Name one great ASU wide receiver. I'll give you the rest of this stream to list me one great ASU wide receiver, and I'll give you $1 million. So Justin Jefferson, like body movements and routes, the way his body control is, if you blacked out Jordyn Tyson's film, like if you created a silhouette, you closed everything off, and I told you it was Jordan Jefferson or Justin Jefferson, it's believable. His twitchiness, his shoulder movements, the raw just athleticism he has gives for really unique and non-traditional routes. Like that's why one of his knocks is like he'll round out some of his routes. It's because he can. It's something not everyone can do, and it's very, very impressive. So he has the highest upside based on physical traits and raw ability. I do believe that. Sometimes untraditional technique, but able to and gets open all the time. His contested catch is pretty elite. He's an ultimate competitor without the ball. And then the obvious is the conversation has been all offseason is his injuries. So there are injury concerns, but you do have to contextualize them. If he's just a guy who's the wide receiver or running back? Who's the guy who like has had now like 2 season-ending injuries back to back, and like all off-season related stuff? I forgot his name. I think he's like a smaller running back. I think he played for the Bears too, but it's not a situation where it's just like chronically the same thing happening over and over. I think there was a collarbone, there was a knee issue, but a lot of it does come from. You said Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald did not play at ASU, and then Brandon Ayuk. Sure. So if Brandon Ayuk is the greatest ASU wide receiver, then I think that proves my point. But again, the injuries, his competitiveness, and I think him coming back too soon from injuries because of a desire to just help the team out, I think was counterproductive. Very similar to like Rams fans, you know how Puka is. Puka he's probably had 4 concussions every single season, but he comes back in, he'll get blood on his face, he'll take a hit, go in the locker room for half a quarter, and then come back and moss somebody on an 80-yard touchdown. Very similar stuff from Jordyn Tyson. He just hasn't been as lucky, where he'll push himself too early, too far, and then he looks gassed on the field. People are questioning his competitive ability. That's more, hey, you have to be smart and take care of yourself, because you can't help the team if you can't help yourself, right? You can't, impossible. And then that's on coaching staff too. Why are you allowing this to happen? Why are you allowing the medical staff to let this guy on the field if he's not ready yet? It shows and it sucks. Like that's a detriment to his professional career. And I think that's on the coaching staff there. But he's good enough to win so many games. I think in 2024, we're enamored with, if you go watch that playoff run that Arizona State was trying to put on, the way that Cam Scadaboo just rallied them to a win, that was without Jordyn Tyson. And I think if Tyson was available, they win at least another game. They were doing some special shit on that team that they had no business winning some games, but just from pure talent, they were able to. Combined with Sam Levitt just not being a crazy accurate quarterback at times. Jordyn Tyson's very good. So he did have his pro day last week. Teams don't seem truly concerned enough to not draft him. I find validity in that because it's coming from multiple teams, multiple scouts. If this was a situation, if it's coming from team sources, not agent sources, if it's coming from his agent, he's going to say, yeah, all 32 teams want him. He's a top 10 guy. The report is like there were 16 or 17 teams in attendance. Majority of them that they talked to showed little to no concern over the injury history. They're aware of it. Sounds good. Like no one wants to intentionally raise a player's stock if you're an NFL scouting department. That doesn't help them at all. Because if you're the Rams, you're not going to come out and be like, oh yeah, medically clear, good to go. Hey, Kansas City, pick him at 9. That's just not how they're going to operate business. I do think that even if you are the Rams, and let's say let's say he is not 100% right now. Let's say he plays 13, 14, 15 games, not a full 17. 13 games of Jordyn Tyson at pick 13 is going to win you more games, be more dynamic, and help you in the playoffs more than the previous guys with the full 17. He's that talented. He's that good. His physical ability and raw talent, like upside, if you add him to the Rams trio today, that is one of the potentially on paper, one of the greatest trios entering a season. And you set yourself up with either this guy or a number one wide receiver to break a lot of season records individually for quarterback and just as a team collectively as an offense. I believe Jordyn Tyson is that good. Kamal says, I believe he has the talent, but can he last long enough to make use of it? Maybe he plays best as an off-speed pitch. And that's the point. Like dynamic 60-minute weapon when he's on the field. The player comps I got for him, Justin Jefferson and his body movements and his just raw ability, like it's up there. It's wildly impressive. Jacoby Myers, you may laugh at that. Jacoby Myers is fucking gifted. And you give him a good quarterback, that man can make plays on the field. He's a good football player. I like Jacoby Myers. Elite and unique athleticism when running routes, can be the best player on the field, emphasis on the field when he's on there. And would it be fair? Because like I said, you add him to this Rams offense, like does Goodell step in Chris Paul style and say, nah, pick someone else? That's not fair for the rest of the league. You can't have 3 number 1 wide receivers. But like let's play both sides. If he's healthy, if you get 20 plus games this season on a playoff team with Jordyn Tyson, again, I look back to the NFC Championship game. If Jordyn Tyson's on that field on 4th down in the red zone, he's gonna find a way to get open. He's just that good, immediate impact maker. On the other hand, if he's not healthy, let's say he's 90%. Okay. Doesn't matter who it is that you're drafting, Tyson or Tate, you're going to be wide receiver 3 on this team. You're not out snapping Devontae Adams or Puka Nacua. You're not taking over their role. You're going to be in competition for wide receiver 3/4 at best. That means you're not playing 100% of the snaps. That's good for Jordyn Tyson. That means he gets almost a ramp-up period. But the pressure is off him. It's off his body. Come in, play 65% of the snaps for the first month or two, ramp up through the season, and become a monster at the end of the season for the playoffs. That seems like a good trade-off for me. Well worth pick 13. So with him at second, obviously number 1 wide receiver, I have ranked Carnell Tate. It is possible to get him in the draft. He's a top 10 talent. Should be. He's the most complete wide receiver. Very talented. I know a lot of people point at him being the number 2 at Ohio State. I don't think that fucking matters because, again, you're going to be wide receiver 3 at best here in Los Angeles anyways. So cool. That's right up his alley. Some of his positives, buttery, smooth routes. He glides. It's just natural. He was born to play wide receiver. And I don't mean that as like he's going to be the greatest of all time. But no, like there's some people that you watch them athletically and like, I don't know, Russell Westbrook in the NBA. The guy was like birthed to be just an athletic, crazy great point guard. Like some people just naturally fit their sport, that their body is just like elite at. Carnell Tate is meant to be a wide receiver, reliable hands, contested catches, climbs the ladder like a true wide receiver 1. You watch all his downfield shots. Like he just climbs the ladder and finds a way to grab the ball every time, really strong hands. His superpower though, and no one else in the class does it this well. And this is why I have him up above others for the Rams at number 1. If you are off coverage on him, obviously he's strong enough to play against press and all that. But if a DB is sitting at 8 to 10, he takes off vertically. If he gets on a DB's toes, like right on top of them, between that 10 to 15 yard range, it's fucking game over. If you don't have a hand on him yet, if you're not challenging him, if you're giving him free run at your space, at your personal space, on your toes, between 10 to 15 yards, you don't know, like you're bailing because his ability to burn past you or stop and break in, it's dangerous. The very same thing that we enjoy Adams and Puka for the same thing, like, man, you let him get on top of you, leverage, a shoulder check, bodies you in that 10 to 15 yard range, it's game over. Like you can't cover him. That's how he's able to get open despite him running a 4.5 up. Like he's not going to have track speed. Same thing. He's got game speed. He has longer speed. Doesn't have the same short yard quickness. Like he's not twitchy, but he's fast after he gets momentum built up a little bit. Kind of similar to Denzel Boston. His sideline mechanics to make incredible grabs. I don't have the clip here. Go look at Illinois versus Ohio State. I couldn't find the clip alone on Twitter, but I think it's in the second quarter. They're going from right to left on the screen. He makes on the right side of the field. He runs at like a 12-yard speed out. It's super buttery. It's like watching Devontae Adams, where it's not even a cut. He's just speed in there. His footwork and his hand-eye coordination to make a reaching sideline grab, 2 toes out of a full speed break is just it's number one wide receiver. Like it's getting number one wide receiver phenomenal. I watched that. I was like, yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy. Some of his characteristics that are deemed as negatives: top end speed. No, he doesn't run a 4.3. I think he was like in a 4.5s. I think he was. Let me double check. That's one thing I didn't write. Yeah, official 4.53. So it's funny how we think 4.5 is like slow for some reason. But he's got faster game speed, very similar to Rams players that we love today. And then he's a momentum builder. So after 10 yards, if you have not put hands on him, he will glide past you. He's got a long stride because he's like 6'2" or 6'3". So he's a big dude. Doesn't break a lot of tackles on film. It's not that he can't, but for whatever reason, you watch him catch a dig route, you watch him catch a deep pass. There's not a lot of highlights of him like breaking tackles, getting an extra 10 yards. He'll, smaller guy, football happens. He'll get one here or there, but it's not his strong suit. Similar to Denzel Boston. The difference between these two is that Carnell Tate, his release game is ready to go. He's plug and play. I can put Carnell Tate on all 32 teams, and he's at least a wide receiver 2, except here in LA. So that's the difference between Tate and Boston. That if they do want an X receiver, he reminds me a lot of Adams. Put him under Adams. Like it's perfect. It fits exactly what they need. Another weapon, a wide receiver 3 that's a game changer that makes it unfair if someone goes down. Like you just don't miss a beat. And if Devontae Adams is out the door in a year or two, you have his body double in the locker room, in the same meeting room. Get his body double, put him in there. They were the same fucking number too. Like I just put 2 and 2 together. Same number. Go get Carnell Tate. So, like again, Ryan reminds me of Adams. He just gets open over and over. Pure X receiver. Worth trading up for. Not spot 4 or 5. If Carnell Tate is still there at 8, 9, 10, go get him. Whether that's a first next year, second next year, I don't know. I don't get how it works. Some people like think trading up for a receiver is bad. I don't think so. I think if it's for a guy like Carnell Tate, a blue chip guy, just go get him. Kamal Kobe says, "What do you mean out the door?" I mean, he's old, and I've talked about it on stream. I think that hamstring injury against Detroit, like he wasn't 100% in the playoffs. I know he was running around at the flag football game a few months ago, but does he last 17 games again? Is this something that's going to happen again? So, yeah, I just changed my Rams pick. Pick him to Boston. I like it, man. I like it. Now, I do have this for you guys. I do want to talk about it really quickly. I don't know if I should make this larger, but you may not be able to see it perfectly. But this is just a quick insight as to how I came up with my rankings for these 6 guys. I created my own category of things. Like, it may be missing some things that you think are important, but for my purposes, for what I think the Rams should care about, this is what I got. It's a plus-minus system, coaching style. I'm not doing grades. I'm not doing numbers. I equated values to the pluses and minuses and added them up. We'll go through it. A green plus is just 5 points of yep, checks it. You're good at it. It's a skill. It's going to help you win games. Double plus is like almost a superpower where like it's so unique for how they play that it's a characteristic, it's a trait, it's a Madden ability. I gave him like a little half point. It's like a little nudge. Like you're a little bit better than everybody else at this. Negative just means kind of neutral. You got to work at it. Oh no, sorry. Minus sign is not that you're terrible at it. It's just not your strong suit. And then okay is like not good, not bad. They do it. It's whatever. So going across the board, Carnell Tate, his superpower was his leverage. Like I talked about that 10 to 15 yard range, elite. His negatives are he's not twitchy and he doesn't get a lot of yards after the catch. The way I scored it out, 47.5 out of 55 total points. Tyson, superpower is the contested catches. I didn't really have a thing. It should be twitchiness too. But I just left them as a positive. And then he's okay at defensive recognition. I just think ASU system didn't allow it too much. I think it capped it. So I think he's capable of doing it. We just have to see how it happens in the NFL. And then his yards after the catch, like he's good. He's an athlete, but he's not the same level in comparison to like Concepcion or Cooper. He scored a total of 48.5 out of 55. So how do I have Tate over Tyson if Tyson is this athletically gifted and he has a higher score on my chart as compared to Tate? Context, as much as I don't want to knock a guy's injury, like even missing one game, 17 games of Tyson, I think are better than 17 games of Tate. Sorry, 17 games of Tate is better than 16 with Tyson. I think it's that thin because of how pro ready and how plug and play Carnell Tate is and how he does everything just how you want his abilities. I think they just squeak out Tyson. If Tyson was like 1% better health and he plays all 17, it's not a question Tyson's number one. But because of that, because other guys have held up a little bit longer, we do have to take into account. So he just edges them out. Anyways, the rest of the guys, same story. Lemon, his superpower is defensive recognition because I do think he's capped athletically. Like he's not going to be the fastest. He's not going to be the strongest. But he's just elite at knowing football. Case, his superpower is yards after the catch. His negatives are run block, contested catches. Boston, his superpower is to contest his run blocking. That is how I got Boston at number 3 over Lemon is because of the size, because I don't trust McVay, and 2, because he has 2 superpowers in the contested catch and the run blocking. We love run blocking. We don't get to pick and choose which receiver we love that does run block. The fact is, Rams fans, we love run blockers. Denzel Boston might be the best one. The dude's an asshole. Like he plays mean with or without the ball. You will love Boston if he comes to LA. And then last but not least, Cooper. He just had the most like what ifs along with KCC. His release has got to get worked on, but his superpower also is the yards after the catch. So, yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Recapping one more time, our receiver top guy is Carnell Tate because he reminds me a lot of both Adams and a little bit of Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's not a yak monster. We get so enamored with speed. We get so enamored with, but what if, can he break away? There's more to getting open than just pure speed. We see it all the time. Puka Nacua ran the same fucking 40 as Carnell Tate. He's doing just fine. I don't think Adams had a super blazing fast 40 time either. He hasn't been a 4.4 guy in a long time. But if you're just elite at everything else, football takes care of it for you, man. So, yeah. What do you guys think? Thoughts, concerns? Did you hate it? Do you agree with anything I'm saying? Did I change your mind? I know Muad'Dib. Let's see. I know he said he's changed his mind where Boston's his guy now. Let's see any questions we got. Let's see. Muad'Dib says, can release and twitch be taught? I was never a skilled position player, so I don't know. I was an unskilled center. Yes, absolutely. Release is it's the same as equate it to when you're pass blocking or when you're attacking the pass, like on the defensive line. It's all hand placement. It's all just technique. It's learning this like your own version of swing moves, swap moves, matching up your footwork with what you're seeing. You'll hear things like, "Oh, Devontae Adams used a diamond release." It comes down to where the feet are going. Is it going left jab, right jab, and then left jab again and go, or is it like the ability to make all your releases look the same and keep the DB guessing? Are you going left? Are you going right? Are you going through me? If you can keep him on his toes, then it becomes a problem. So you can work on that. Twitch, that's a little bit more of a physical trait. You don't have to have it, but you got to be better at other things. Like I don't think Puka has like incredible twitch. Like he's not like a really twitchy guy, but he's really good at diagnosing where defenders are going after the snap. So he can go. He doesn't have to have the twitch because he knows where they are and where they're not going to be. On top of that, he understands how his body movements make defenders react. So he knows even if all right, I'm not naturally the quickest little guy. I know if I lean my shoulder hard this way, I can make that safety bite down 2 yards, making it easier for me to run past him in about 2 to 3 seconds. So there's things you can work on, but yeah, Twitch is lose a little bit of weight, get in the weight room, and just go practice. Would be awesome if Tyson got us the 1 seed every year, but he's never in the playoffs. And we lose, it feels bad. That sucks. Twitch can be made up for with decision making. Yep, same thing. Decision making. Let's see. Contested catch or run block. So that's I think that's the conclusion I want to come up with is this is my rankings based on what I think the Rams might prioritize. I might have it backwards. They might say, hey, we've got 2 bigger guys in Adams and Puka already. Like they're decently sized. We are lacking in the explosive short area burst option underneath area. We're going to run a lot of play action. We need guys with speed to drag across the field and get open. So maybe they do prioritize and like create a system to be able to use Makai Lemon or Concepcion or Omar Cooper Jr. a lot better, more so than Tyson or Tate. I think Tyson is the ultimate wild card because I think he just does everything. He's just too damn good. Where if you want to put him in the slot, put him in the X spot, put him in the backfield, just give him the ball. Tate, almost same thing, but after those two, it's really just a what do you want at that point? What slice of cake? Like it's all cake. It's all delicious. It's all great. It's just, do you want carrot cake? Do you want chocolate? Do you want vanilla with some frosting? You want red velvet? I think they're playing with so many riches right now. It's not fair. I think it decides on how exactly they do want to go about attacking defenses all year. I hope I'm right. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think if you can't, actually, I already know someone's going to ask that, like, who do I think they ultimately get? I think if you can't make a trade happen for Tate, if he doesn't fall, and if you're unsure on Tyson, do you think we pick early in 13 or see who falls? See, right on cue. If you can't trade up for Tate and or Tyson, because there's a chance Tyson is top 10 talent. It just depends if someone's willing to spend the currency on him with the injury history. If you miss those two, they do want a big body. Denzel Boston is such a good guy. Like Denzel Boston on the Rams, he put up 800 plus yards, 7 to 8 plus touchdowns as a wide receiver 3. It like Stafford is throwing for over 4,000 yards. You have a potential where barring injuries, this ends up being one of the best Rams offenses like in history. Yeah, watch Rams pick Tyson at 13 is possible. I think what it wants you to come away with this is understanding. I don't think there's a wrong wide receiver pick out of these 6. I'm going to keep it real. Like if they took any 6 of these guys, I'm waking up the next morning like Rams have the best offense by far. Like you can make a case for any 6 of these guys. Like the margins are so thin, and there's stuff behind the scenes that we don't get to see. Like for example, when we go through the day 2 wide receivers, you will notice there's someone I left off completely, and I'll just tell you now, it's Chris Brazell. I left Chris Brazell off the list completely. I don't think he's a day 2 wide receiver. Athletically, Physically, I get it. 6'5", runs a 4.3. Tennessee's program, they don't develop wide receivers that great. So he's got that going against him. And two, when I watch stuff like things I didn't even talk about today, interviews, post game, stuff off the field. I don't like the highlight guy stuff off the field because I don't know what you got going in your personal life. Like maybe you just had the worst day of your life and you crashed out arguing with your girlfriend. Does that mean you should never play football again or get paid less just because you had a bad day when you were 19? No. Like, let's grow up. Like, these guys are kids. But what I do take into account is how they handle certain questions in the press, whether at school, post game, in the draft, and just it's unfair, but my perceived or how I perceive their football IQ. I'm not saying anybody's stupid, but how I think they just process certain things. You guys know. You guys are some of the biggest Rams fans nerds. Like, you understand what I'm going to say when I say this. When you listen to a Rams player talk and just about the game, about his teammates, about life, and then you see somebody outside the building where it's like McDuffie, Jalen Watson, you hear how they talk, you're like, oh, yeah. We all collectively said, like, that's a Ram. That guy's like, that's a Ram through and through. Somebody else said it about Omar Cooper Jr. Like, he's a Ram. You have this expectation that you just watch how they carry themselves and how they talk about certain things. Chris Brazell doesn't match that for me, and I'm probably way wrong. I'm just a football internet nerd, but I don't see it, and so for that reason, I left a guy like Chris Brazell just off the board completely. Because I think it's more than just the on-field stuff. Because at the end of the day, like, you got to hang out with these people. Sometimes it's just a vibe. Like, but do I want to have lunch with you every day after practice? Let's see who's talking about here. Manuel Brazell is a Tulane transfer. Yes, you know who else was a Tulane player on the roster? Mario Williams. Interested to see how he does. Kamal says I will be excited for our team regardless, but unless team is dressed with a real pick, I don't believe it is being given the gravity it deserved after last season. X-Men deserves some real competition to prove he's the best for that job. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's one thing that we always forget every offseason is we forget like guys on the roster exist and will get better or get worse. Omar Spates, like, he took a leap last offseason. Like, he got better. Is he perfect? No. Is he the best? No. But he got better. Same with Xavier Smith. He got better every single year. Everyone's going to hate on him for the NFC Championship game. But the dude, like, he has such an impressive story. Undrafted out of HBCU, makes the practice squad, off the practice squad, makes it again, elevated for a few games, and then a full-time starter. The dude works his ass off, and he is like the NFL dream that people love to write about. He just hasn't had enough catches to warrant the love from a lot of fans. But what I will say is the reason it's wildly impressive coming from HBCU, having talked to a lot of these guys and prepping for interviews, you don't understand, as a media member, working with his agent, working with their PR, communicating with said player, reaching out to like a coach here or there, just to like get a quote. There's no highlights of these guys sometimes. Like, who was it? Quarterback, Cam Ransom, quarterback, like a quarterback. Dude, I had to dig for highlights. Same with Jackson State guys. So when you get even smaller schools and even more obscure guys, like, no one's made a highlight tape. Like, it's not online. And sometimes like information on the school site isn't even fully accurate just because the resources aren't there to upkeep with it. So to be able to come from a program like that and to work your ass off, I mean, really hoping Xavier gets a shot at it. But there's other guys too. I do want to mention that we can be enamored with all these draft picks, but at the end of the day, what if Xavier Smith takes the leap? What if he's a dynamic slot receiver that Tutu Atwell never was for Sean McVay? Or like they is utilized better than Tutu Atwell. Sorry, misspoke. What if Jordan Whittington finds extra gear and he's a nightmare? What if Mario Williams makes a leap? Because Mario Williams is fast. You go back and watch his college tape at Tulane, twitchy, quick. Like, he had a play or two. I'm like, is that Concepcion? But he's on the practice squad right now. He made one of those big catches against the Chargers in that preseason game to help him win. But like, what if he takes the lead and now he's wide receiver 5 and the speedy guy? So you never know. Those guys on here, that's really, really good. Manuel said, "I love the interview. D40. He's my linebacker would be a nice Ram." I agree. I agree. Yeah, if you guys have not checked those out, we got one more coming out, the Houston DB later today. But we got a bunch of HBCU guys that we interviewed. Eric Hunter, he is one of them. He is slated to be a day 3 linebacker at a Morgan State. It's just a super cool dude. Super cool dude, man. Yeah. Kamal says, "Love X. Just want to know, Leslie McVay actually looking at the problem. We're telling the new coach to deal with what he has." Yeah, and I looked into it more. I don't think it's a problem. I can't equate one game in Seattle with high headwinds that make it fucking a nightmare to try to punt return. And Shaheed almost bobbled one too, and we give him all the credit in the world. I think he just caught him at a bad half, like bad game. You move on. A guy like him, we'll see it early on because it's either you shake that or you don't. So yeah. Mudeep says, "I think I'll go to Boston. I think I'll start it over where no one does." I watched him in the American Bowl. Eric Hunter, yeah, he's good. But yeah, what do you guys think, man? Do you agree with the list? Leave it in the comments. We're gonna have the interview with Mark Stampley out on the channel later today. I don't know what that is. What is this riffraff you're talking about, Augustana? I don't know what that is. I have said, "Would you trade back and get Boston?" Maybe. I mean, Boston may not make it past 15, so you probably can't trade back too much. He's that good. I don't know, man. Just depends how it falls. Like Carnell Tate might end up at like 13. Like who knows if maybe people just aren't high on him. Draft buzz and speculation doesn't always equate to when you got to sit there and press the button come draft night and you got to fill out the form and submit it. We'll just see how it turns out. But that being said, we've got almost an hour and a half. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna eat some lunch. I'm gonna finish editing other videos, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. And as always, subscribe, like, and go Rams. Now, I don't know if my actual video was here or if we're just gonna fade away into the black.